I hate my ex-husband and his new wife.
Hate to spare.
Just got a long email from my kid's stepmom pretty much telling me that she doesn't mind giving the kids extra clothing to go to school so long as they get it back from my house. She says the issue isn't who bought it, but the issue is getting decent clothing back. By the way, this comes from Beneficial Question 75, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. OP says, at the same time, I got a text message from my ex-husband berating me because I didn't clip my son's fingernails on this trip. I couldn't find my nail clippers. I have a household of 5 and I am the only income. My kids don't get brand new clothing at my house. My kids have to wear their clothing until it's threadbare because I can't afford to run out and give them new clothes or even go to Goodwill and get them clothes all the time. I do the best I can on an income of $42,000 for a family of 5. My kids don't get brand new clothing at my house. My kids have to wear their clothing until it's threadbare because I can't afford to run out and get them new clothes or even go to Goodwill and get them clothes all the time. I do the best I can on an income of $42,000 for a family of 5. I don't get child support from my ex-husband, and between him and his wife, they make 80 to 90 grand a year depending on how busy his business is. I'm currently in college trying to get my bachelor's degree, and it's not cheap or easy to try to do that while working full-time and taking care of my kids. And the two of them always point out what I'm doing wrong. How my kids are suffering because I'm in school and can't spend a lot of time with them, and just generally picking me apart. I'm trying so hard to hold it all together and do the best I can, and it's never enough. I really truly feel hatred for those two, and I hate feeling that way. And there are some relevant comments. I'm just wondering
Why
they
is
don't
there
get
no child support?
Also,
And
why, if they're so worried about their kids, would they not want to, just make sure that their kids have enough clothes,
Yeah. Exactly. It seems like nonsense to me that they'd pick you apart and then not help you when it's also his kids.
It's his kids too.
Although I think for like the clothes and stuff, there's resources out there like
Clothing
Salvation
drives and
Army.
stuff, yeah.
Pop some tags at the Goodwill. There's Valley Value Center. Everything there's $1 on Tuesdays.
Well, I think OP just said I don't have.
That's
I can't afford to
bad.
run out. Oh wait, no, just I can't.
Yeah.
But there's some comments. Comment 1 says, you're doing the best you can, and I'm sure your kids know you love them. You should try to get some child support. Sounds like he's getting off easy. OP says, the last time we went to court, the only thing that happened is I got the ability and the right to claim the children on taxes every year until they're adults. The majority of his businesses, he gets paid cash under the table, and the little bit of cash he doesn't get paid under the table or that he does claim is not enough to get child support from him, and they don't look at his wife's income. Maybe if I get into a better financial situation and can afford a lawyer, I'll revisit it. I only have 2 more years and then I'll have my degree. Commenter 2 says, if he makes that much money, why aren't you getting... We already know that. Where is the other father of the older kids? OP says, deceased. He passed away in 2016. Comment 3 says, if he makes that much money, why aren't you getting child support? Comment 4, we all know this. Stop asking about the child support. We know.
Well, no, I wanted that one looked like it was more detailed about.
She makes the bulk at $65K a year. He underreports his earning, $30 to $40K a season, but he reports $10 to $15K unless he's lied to me, which could be the case too. But knowing him, I doubt it. Comment 4 says, is it underreporting or just business expenses that take away from his gross income, causing him to pay less tax? I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure her income wouldn't count. OP says, her income doesn't count. I've been dealing with this for going on 5 years now. I've gone to court several times with my clinicals starting this fall and the workload for nursing school increasing. I don't have it in me to fight a court battle too. I just need to focus on getting through the next 2 years and getting licensed. And did the ex turn the kids against OP? OP says he plays favorites with the twins, and my daughter is starting to notice. His own actions are turning them against him. I will never speak poorly of him to them, and when he doesn't show to events, like their birthday party this year, point to tell them he was really sick or something along those lines. Life's hard enough, and they don't need to feel unwanted or not important by my words. OP on her oldest kids having a job. OP says my 15-year-old does. He's saving for a car. He is my oldest. You have to be 14 here to hold the job, so my middle has another year. OP on blocking the stepmother. OP says she has my number blocked, which is why she emails me. She blocked me after my daughter said stepmom pulled her hair when she was mad at her. Don't touch my daughter.
Also, there was a comment from Red Bull Rana that says that if the father of the oldest has passed away, you may be able to withdraw his Social Security for your kid.
Turns out she brushed my daughter's hair roughly and pulled it because my daughter was refusing to listen that morning. Not even remotely okay, but legally I was told no crime was committed and I could have documented it, but that was it. By the way, I did have it documented. OP says I'll report him to the IRS again. The vast majority of you are amazing and I really appreciate the suggestions. It can't hurt to keep reporting. For the extreme few who say I shouldn't have had kids if I couldn't afford them. I was fine. Then got married, became a stay-at-home mom with my twins, my youngest. We moved to a new state where I had zero family or support, but he had his family. Then after a year there, he cheated on me. And when we finally divorced, everything was split 50-50. Guess what? We had no savings, and with only his income, I didn't walk out with much. I hate that I have shared custody where I have to deal with someone who verbally and mentally mistreated me. I love the suggestion of the co-parenting app and will be looking into it more. OP on her ex paying child support. We have 50-50 custody. I technically make more than him. And there is an update 2 years and 2 months later.
Yeah, I would just, at least try to, I know you hate the guy, but just being like, dude, like your kids need clothes. Like, are you really going to be so prideful and stubborn and petty that you don't want to provide? And it's like, I think the thing is that he just wants to be the one to provide him himself. So he's like the better parent.
Well, even when they give the kids clothes, the stepmom's like, can you bring those back? They can't have those clothes when they're at your house. Like, that's crazy. Those are your kids' clothes.
Dude, step off, stepmom.
But there is a second update or another update 2 years and 2 months later. I made a post here 2 years ago. How I hated my ex-husband and his wife. I have an update. And I've got to update you guys about the fact that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. 1, I am a registered nurse now. My kids have new clothes, and thanks to your advice, I was able to keep them in really nice clothes until I was able to afford new stuff.
Good.
2, I have a boyfriend. This is relevant.
You do?
My ex made fraudulent claims about him to DCF. He was eventually told if he continued, then the police would be involved. He still has moments where he slips up, but he's been more helpful and less condescending by a lot. Thank you to whoever suggested the parenting app. The court agreed it was a good move, and I think that above all else, that has made a huge difference. Not sure who cares, but I wanted to say thanks. And comments. Comment 1 says, so I guess the IRS never got him for working under the table. Reply says, not many IRS agents left. Doubt they're going after anyone for the difference between $10K and $40K annual income. Comment 2 says, these kinds of stories are a huge part of why I could never be a stay-at-home mom. Need to hedge risk and keep working. Reply says, 100%. Even without worrying about divorce, you never know what the future holds. The primary wage earner could get sick, become disabled, or pass away in an accident. Women stepping away from work and having to scramble to re-enter the workforce after years of pausing their careers really ends well. You do yourself and your family no favors by stopping work. Comment 3 says, wow, they were teaming up to tear her down, and now look at her. She's doing better, and they hate that.
Yeah.
And that is the end of that story.
My ex made our trip unbearable.
Leave me alone.
Before I, then 38 male, begin, let me add some context. My ex, 36 female at the time, and I had a good couple of years together. However, the last 2 years of the relationship were extremely rocky, to say the least. And by the way, this comes from user throwaway5673410. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit where this story was submitted. I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give you good advice, goofily, but we don't always know the answers. We just know what we would do. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. And OP says, the story I'm about to unfold happened during those last 2 years. I definitely contributed to the rockiness of our relationship. I made a ton of mistakes that I deeply regret, but hindsight is always 20/20. I should also add that my ex does not share my perspective on the events I'm about to recount. I wouldn't blame anyone for taking this with a grain of salt. Okay, story time. My ex, let's call her Casey, and her cousin, at the time 24, female, let's call her Jenny, were always very close. More like sisters than cousins. They trauma bonded over similar dysfunctional upbringings and were inseparable until Casey relocated. I had met Jenny multiple times, and we got along famously whenever we crossed paths. Jenny and her boyfriend had newly relocated to Denver and were adjusting to a brand new city and state. Casey wanted to visit as sort of a housewarming thing and invited me to come along. She said she would pay for our plane tickets, and all I'd have to pay for was my own food or miscellaneous items I wanted to grab for myself. I liked Jenny quite a bit and also loved Colorado, so I enthusiastically agreed to come. Typically, Casey and I traveled well together. Outside of the usual stress that comes with traveling, we always seemed to make the best of everything, even when things went sideways. Not this time. Oh, no. Looking back, I can see this trip was doomed from the start. While we were packing, Casey offered to make room in her suitcase for both our things. Since our flight allowed one free checked suitcase, I casually said that wasn't necessary. I have my own suitcase and planned to take that. Casey didn't respond. She didn't seem annoyed from what I could tell, and I was usually good at noticing if she was upset about something or annoyed. She just seemed to shrug and let it go. The day of the trip arrived. We pulled up to the airport, a little behind and stressed out due to unexpected heavy traffic. We checked our bags, grabbed our tickets, and made our way through TSA. We were speed walking to the terminal when this idiot who was running behind us basically body checked Casey out of his way and kept sprinting ahead as if he hadn't almost knocked a stranger to the ground. I grabbed Casey to keep her from falling and yelled after the stranger, "What the F, man? Hey!" I wanted to run after him and confront the guy, but I stayed to make sure Casey was okay. The guy was out of sight by the time I could have gone after him. And who was Casey mad at? Me.
What for? What'd you do?
Should have had the sixth sense active, dude.
Should have been like guys running at her, and you go pick her up, and then you go.
Yeah, she was like, "Why didn't you hit him with the atomic elbow?"
Yeah, you go
straight. Yeah. Yeah. So she's mad at me, not the guy who nearly knocked her down. I was the a-hole for yelling after the guy. I was gobsmacked, literally speechless. She berated me all the way to the terminal. Since we were rushing to get to the terminal on time and things were already tense, I kept my mouth shut and apologized. We got to the plane on time and boarded without further incident. Casey ignored me the whole way to Denver. I felt it was best to leave her alone and kept silent the entire flight. We landed and made our way to baggage claim. The belt at our claim wasn't moving and seemed to be taking forever. Casey wasn't talking to me at the moment, so I pulled out my phone and started playing a game. Once the belt started moving and suitcases came our way, I put my phone away. I didn't know it at the time, but playing on my phone had only infuriated Casey more. She was silently fuming beside me while I obliviously tapped away. I would get an earful about this later. We got our bags and headed to meet Jenny and her boyfriend outside. Casey lightened up when she saw her cousin, and the mood was generally lighthearted on the way to their home. Once we arrived, we ordered pizza and were catching up. Jenny asked what we wanted to do while we were there. Since everyone hemmed and hawed, not really coming up with any ideas, I suggested we could find some scenic outlooks and take pictures together. I recommended a trip into the mountains to find a lookout with a good view of the Continental Divide. No one but me had any idea what the Continental Divide even was. They all peppered me with questions about it and where it was. I answered as best as I could. I honestly thought everyone took my suggestion more seriously than I had meant them to. Since Casey loves taking tons of pictures when she travels, I thought that would be a viable option, So much confusion and discussion about the Continental Divide followed that I wished we could drop it and discuss other options.
Everyone was like, Continental Divide.
Continental
I
Divide.
never thought about the Continental Divide before. but I don't know, maybe we should go, but the Continental Divide. And he's like, honestly, I don't even want to go to the Continental Divide anymore. I don't even know why I brought it up. Once you take the Continental Divide out of Pandora's box, can't put it back in.
It's really, I don't understand how there could be that much discussion about it. It's very simple. It's just a part of the Rockies that like split the country in half, basically.
And there you freaking go.
Yeah. It was getting late, so Casey and I made our way to our hotel. We checked in and settled into our room. The mood seemed to have lightened, and we chatted amicably about nothing before going to bed. I breathed a sigh of relief. I thought the start of the trip was turbulent, but I believed Casey and I were fine and would move on from the crappy parts of the day. How wrong I was. I woke up to see that Casey was already moodily sipping coffee. I said good morning and tried to snuggle her like we did every morning. Casey was stiff and unresponsive. I asked her what was wrong. She sighed in exasperation and launched into how awful this trip already was. She was furious with me for taking my own luggage, saying I should have known that she wanted to check 2 pieces of her luggage so she could have plenty of room for items we would buy on the trip.
I think that she's like just expecting you to read her mind, and I feel like a lot of this frustration and stuff is actually coming from something else.
Yeah.
Because she's getting mad at you for a lot of silly stuff.
It's like, why didn't you could have just said that that's what you wanted to do, and it would have been like, oh, okay. But instead you said nothing. She was also annoyed that I would bury my face in my phone the whole trip. She thought it was rude of me to suggest we go out of our way to do what I wanted while being Jenny's guest. She was referring to my suggestion of taking scenic pictures around the Continental Divide. At this point, I was done not defending myself. I argued back that she had plenty of room in her suitcase and mine for items we wanted to bring back. If she wanted to take her own luggage and not mine, she should have said something. I also pointed out that if I was on my phone at any point, it was during idle moments, and she was giving me the silent treatment anyway. As for the Continental Divide, it was only a suggestion since no one else was coming up with anything. Casey didn't address any of my points, just repeating herself, calling me rude and inconsiderate. This went on for hours. Finally, we were at an impasse and needed to get ready to meet Jenny and her boyfriend for brunch and shopping. Not all of the trip was bad. Some highlights included brunch, shopping, visiting dispensaries, and dancing in a go-go club where Casey's friend was a dancer. We also went out with Casey's go-go dancer friend who lived there. Those were enjoyable moments. However, the highlights were far and few between. Outside of a handful of fun activities, I could do nothing right. It was one of those situations where one mistake leads to an avalanche of other mistakes. I sheepishly admitted that scenic outlooks were a bad idea and suggested we do something else. Jenny's boyfriend suggested hiking. That was a bad idea. It was still spring in Colorado, and the weather was chilly and icy. The trails were likely covered in snow and ice. None of us were equipped for a long hike on icy Colorado trails. Still, everyone thought this idea was the best idea ever. I went along to keep Casey's glaring eyes off of me. I won't say it was a disaster because the hike was short. The trails were uphill and covered in ice and snow. Jenny had chucks on her feet, which caused her to fall repeatedly.
She brought chucks?
Welcome to Denver. Well, they just moved there.
Oh.
They don't know yet.
She didn't have those snowshoes yet?
Welcome to Denver.
Put your
Can't wear
snowshoes
chucks on
on
the iced out trail.
They got no traction.
The ice road.
No, sir. Can't wear your Converse.
The rest of us didn't have much better footwear. We all ended up on our butts or faces at some point. We gave it up after a quarter of a mile and just went back to Jenny's house to watch The Office. And by the way, you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this with Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Just use your thumbs and search OK Storytime.
Use them or you'll lose them.
Or voice dictation, or like you can have like a secretary do it for you.
Just another
Pull
person.
it up on your smart
Any other person
TV.
do it.
And maybe you type with your index finger. You can listen to everything
Any
we've
finger
ever
you
said in our
like.
whole lives. Anyway, there's a little bit more story left.
I'm just wondering why she's making all of these freaking like comments and getting mad at everything. It just feels like she's got a short fuse right now.
This whole thing makes me feel like, the the root of this issue is just like, it doesn't really have anything to do with the trip or the stress of the traveling. It's really just like, I think you and your wife have a problem.
Think she's got a problem.
She's got a problem, and she doesn't like to talk in a real way. She just likes to throw stuff at you. I mean, for God's sake, somebody knocked her down at the airport and you yelled at him and she got mad at you for that?
Why did you do that?
She got mad at you for yelling at the guy who knocked her down? What do we...
Make it make sense.
Where are we at?
What's the world
That doesn't
coming
make
to?
any sense. The rest of the trip, outside of the few highlights, was spent in tense silence or fighting between Casey and me. It was a 5-day trip, and by day 4, I couldn't wait to go home. My anxiety was through the roof as I constantly walked on eggshells. My poor morale was likely noticeable to everyone because Casey still hasn't let me live down how much of a downer I was. Did my best to put on a happy face, but couldn't help keeping my mouth shut and going with the flow. Finally, the trip ended, and Casey and I returned home. This trip was brought up countless times afterward. It became her favorite story to throw in my face when we fought. After we broke up, she told me Jenny was relieved, saying I was controlling and had a habit of bringing the mood down. Jenny thought I was way out of line for pressuring everyone to take scenic pictures of that landmass I had suggested. It shall not be named.
She said you were way out of line for being like, hey, you guys should take pictures. We should go take pictures.
Yeah, you were way out of line for suggesting going somewhere that is iconic to go to.
And
Very
that everyone wanted to go to.
That they've never heard of, by the way. You're like, what's that?
The Continental Divide. If you go to Arapahoe Basin and ski and snowboard there, you can actually ride the Continental Divide.
Okay, Billy Time says,
cool.
yes, snow advice from Californians. Me and Keon are the only. Dakota's got
snows here.
Dakota's
Not
got
here.
good. Yeah.
I was literally a snowboard instructor.
Yeah, Dakota's got good
Billy
snow
Time.
advice.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tahoe.
I certainly don't, but I just have kind of like good sense.
Tahoe,
what?
Big Bear.
Sense? I've got the good sense to know that you shouldn't wear chucks. In
Oh,
the
I
snow.
thought you were saying that like your expertise was scent.
I got a sniffer.
You're like, I'm not big into the ice
a
and the snow,
sniffer?
but when it comes to smells, I've got you.
Yeah,
got
I
a
know all
sniffer?
the smells that you want to smell.
I know everything.
I feel like you'd be good with smells. Anyway,
I'm very sensitive to smell, actually.
yeah, that's why she was hunting down the fleas by scent.
Yeah, I'd be like, I
She would
can
walk into a
smell
room and
ya.
go,
They're in here.
there's a flea in this room.
Fly, flow,
And they shall flee from me. Okay, sorry. Casey and I are cordial now. However, I still hear about the Continental Divide suggestion as the worst idea ever.
Dude,
What a bunch of
gosh.
dorks. What a bunch of lamos don't want to go to the
Gosh.
Continental Divide when you're in Denver.
So messed up. My girlfriend is still caught up with her ex.
Oh, no.
I, 23 male, just went through a breakup with my girlfriend Haley, 26 female, this Friday. We had been dating for 7 months, but we'd known each other for about a year and 2 months. This isn't our first breakup, but she says this one is final, and I can feel it is. By the way, this comes from Standard Ad 2808, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, when we got together, it felt like everything clicked. She told me I was the only person she could truly be herself with, and that I was more compassionate and sweet than anyone she had ever met. For a while, I really believed we had something rare. It was exactly what I've always wanted, and she was absolutely perfect. But it all changed after about 2 months when we started to crack emotionally. The biggest issue? Her ex-fiancé, Jason. They had a whole life together before me. She admitted more than once that she missed that life even while being with me. She told me that if she chose him again, she wouldn't have kept in contact with me at all, which made me feel disposable, like she never fully chose me in the first place. She also emotionally cheated on me with him, which led to our first breakup. But I realized with that space, I didn't want to live without her. There were other moments too. She nearly put Jason as a reference on her passport until I said something. Her sister let slip that Haley and Jason had been hanging out. She always insisted she didn't want him back, but the shadow of him was always in our relationship, and I always felt like I was fighting a ghost I could never beat. Also, 2 months in, some major life events happened that put significant stress on our relationship. We went through something intense together, that I thought would bond us, but it ended up creating more distance instead. During this difficult time, she started hiding her phone from me and becoming distant. She wouldn't even kiss me anymore. Ugh. After about a week of her being almost silent with me and avoiding me, we were in the car about to get out when I asked why she'd been so cold lately. She said, "To be honest, I don't want to continue with this anymore, and I'm pretty set on this. And also, I might quit my job and move back home." Basically leaving me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now you've changed your mind after not even talking to me and hiding your phone? What's going on? Her answer, "I don't know." From that point, and for the next 2 days, anything I would ask was an "I don't know." She was slowly no longer taking any care of herself whatsoever. One day, I had to help her get motivated to shower and take care of her basic hygiene, so maybe she wouldn't be so depressed. After dealing with the stressful situation for several weeks, things seemed to stabilize and get back to normal between us. Dude,
Your version of normal is she wants her ex back.
She wants her ex back.
That's your normal.
Or she's already back with her ex. But then came the day when she asked me if she could be friends and unblock her ex-fiance and hang out with him again. I was like, absolutely not. Not while dating me. And also, after all, we just got over together. You want to add him back into your life? Again, I said absolutely not. After confronting her about it, I discovered that her ex had visited her during our recent difficult time, and that's why she was asking. Long story short, she brought him back into our lives, and that's why we broke up for that first time. The breakup lasted a week, and when she got back, everything kind of went back to normal. Yes, I did give the friends thing a fair chance and forgave her since she ended up being pretty honest about the whole thing. Over time, her ex started fading away, and over the past 2.5 to 3 months, they haven't talked once. I ended up moving past the grief of that loss fairly quickly. Her parents hated me at first, and then came to accept me after 2 months, but I could always sense a distance, like they were waiting to see if I would last. Her friends, who by the way are also her only 3 friends, and she's been friends with them for 24 years, never really gave me the chance and only met me once. I could tell they didn't support us as much as I wish they had, especially behind my back to Haley. That isolation didn't help when things between me and Haley got tough. Haley can be cold. She has self-absorbed tendencies, struggles to process emotions, and shuts down whenever there's conflict.
OP, why are we trying to skate uphill?
Literally.
We're like ice skating uphill right now.
It's so hard to be in this relationship. Why are we in it? Whenever I tried to talk through an issue calmly, she made it seem like I was attacking her. She doesn't want to be here. She's made it very clear. I don't know why she's still here, but...
Yeah, I don't know why either of you are still in this relationship.
Seems like nobody likes this relationship. Seems like no one likes it.
She couldn't work through problems without turning defensive or distant, and it left me feeling like I was walking on eggshells. I gave her patience and compassion, but in return, I often got walls. She also became a lot more sensitive, which, when we first started dating, she said she wasn't sensitive. And one of the reasons she split with her ex-fiance was because he was too sensitive. Recently, the final 2 arguments we had became more serious, and no matter what I would say, it would make it worse or be deflected onto me. She told me she couldn't give me what I deserved and that I do deserve unconditional love. But she isn't capable of giving it. She's like, someone's got to give you that unconditional love. My love is conditional. And the condition is that I'm with my ex.
The condition is you're my ex-fiance.
Yeah. And then I would love you. She says she loves me, but can't do this anymore. We did end on good terms. She said she still loves me and wants this breakup to fix herself and find her happy again. And that was it.
Her happy's her ex,
She wants to find her happy again.
I want to yell as loud as I can.
Yeah, a big old ah! I want to yell like the girls behind me at the Monstros at Halloween Horror Nights. They yelled awfully loud.
They yell very loud.
They literally.
They say, "Oh my God,
no,
that was so scary."
We enter. They just go, scream bloody murder the whole time. I'm like, girls, you can't possibly find every second of this so scary that you can't stop screaming.
Maybe they were just excited.
No, it was, you weren't there, man. You weren't there.
Maybe they were just having a blast.
It was just and no stop, no pause, no pause.
Maybe they were a little overstimulated.
I have no idea. It's all 6 of them.
6?
6 of them, all screaming bloody murder the whole time.
I'm glad I wasn't there.
Yeah. Now I'm left here broken. I can't stop thinking about the what ifs, the future I pictured with her, the times I felt like she was mine completely. But I also can't ignore the truth that she was emotionally immature, that she couldn't choose me fully, and that I spent most of our relationship trying to earn a love that should have been freely given. I'm facing major challenges now. I'm going to lose my car. Already lost my job since we worked together. My apartment I shared with her. I'm also $30,000 in debt. And no family or friends are available to help house me currently until I'm back on my feet. I feel like I wasn't enough. Like Jason will always be in her heart and I will not be. And I was just filling a gap so she can heal and move on. But at the same time, I know deep down I deserve more. Someone who chooses me without hesitation, who can actually communicate, and who doesn't make me feel small for needing love like she did. But I would never make you small for needing to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up Storytime. And there is a little bit left of this story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's time to cowboy up.
Time to pony up and ride out of this relationship.
You taught yourself a very valuable, very expensive lesson that if you are dating someone and they literally say to your face, I wish I was still with my ex-fiance. It's time to not have that relationship.
Probably not the best relationship to be in.
It's time to immediately stop everything you're doing and say, wait, let's reassess the situation.
Do I even want to be here?
Do
Does she
you
wanna
want to
be
even
here?
be here? If you don't, we won't do this.
Let's leave.
Actually, I don't even want to be here. We're done.
But OP continues. I just don't know how to get from where I am now, broken, obsessing over her, to the place of healing, where I'm able to figure out how to pick myself up out of this massive mess. I've been back and forth between, oh, I'm good, I can live without her, and I deserve better. And what if I can't find better? And was she right about all the negative things she said about me? Has anyone else been in this position where you loved someone deeply, almost built a future, but they couldn't show up emotionally the way you needed? How did you stop blaming yourself and start moving forward? Any advice, even just some words from people who've been through it, would mean a lot right now. And there are some comments. Comment 1 says, brother, I'm really sorry you're going through this. What you've described sounds absolutely devastating, and I can feel how much pain you're in right now. I need to say this gently but directly. This relationship wasn't healthy for either of you. You wrote it yourself. She couldn't give you unconditional love. She was emotionally unavailable, had self-absorbed tendencies, and made you feel like you were walking on eggshells. Add in the emotional cheating with her ex, the pregnancy trauma, and her inability to choose you fully. That's not love, man. That's trauma bonding. The fact that you're questioning whether you deserve better tells me everything I need to know. You absolutely do deserve better. You deserve someone who chooses you without hesitation, who doesn't make you compete with ghosts from their past, and who can actually show up emotionally.
Well, you can't hang out with ghosts.
You can't hang out with ghosts unless
She
you
hung
are
out
the
with
boy
that ghost.
from the Sixth Sense.
Or you're me.
Or you're Keon.
Actually, no. I'll take it back. Ghosts hang out with me. I don't hang out with them.
Yeah, no,
They
you
choose.
do. You do.
They get to choose. I don't get to choose.
Right now, you're in crisis mode. Losing your job, car, apartment, drowning in debt. I get why you're drinking to numb the pain, but you're right that it won't help you heal. You need to focus on survival first, then healing. Practically speaking, stop drinking. It's making everything worse. File for unemployment immediately if you haven't already. Look into local resources for housing assistance or temporary shelter. Reach out to anyone. Distant relatives, old friends, anyone who might help even temporarily. For the emotional stuff, you need to understand that the what ifs you're obsessing over aren't real. You're mourning a fantasy of what could have been with someone who showed you repeatedly that she couldn't be that person. She told you herself she couldn't give you what you deserve. The real question isn't, what if I can't find better? It's, why do I think I deserve so little? That's the work you need to do. Get into therapy when you can afford it. Learn why you accepted breadcrumbs when you deserved the whole meal. You're 23! I know 7 months feel huge right now, but you have your entire life ahead of you. I forgot if he was 23.
Yeah.
Dude, you've got
Yeah.
so much life to live. You're
You can't
fine.
even relate to that anymore.
Nah, I'm 24. 23 was years ago. Stop trying to figure out if you were enough for her. Start figuring out why you thought she was enough for you.
Bars.
Bars.
That last
Bars.
sentence, hyper accurate.
Yeah, man.
Hyper accurate. They zeroed in
OP.
with the surgical precision, the
Yeah.
micron blade.
It's not about, oh, maybe we could have had a life together if she had changed. She's not going to change. She is who she is. So go find someone better.